Okay. Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Uh, I've brought another important personality, a family, to discuss most especially impactful story, especially about their life so far so good. This channel, as we all know, is dedicated to sharing important tips, stories about individuals' life, personalities, family life, to be able to learn about the story behind their success, where they are today, where they've started, where they've been, and what they have been able to do differently in order to be able to make the change that we are seeing in their life today. And I'm going to present this family to you for them to introduce themselves to you before we hit the ground running. And we're asking them a couple of questions that we'll be able to learn from and probably adapt into our own life. This is Iweniyi podcast where we'll be able to navigate life with other people's story and learn from. Yeah, thank you, my beautiful people. I would like you to introduce yourself to our viewers. Tell us your name, your family, and whatever you want us to know about your family. Thank you.
You first.
Ladies first.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Depending on whatever time you'll be listening to this podcast. So I am Olubukola Adeyemi, and with me is my husband here in OT, and we are a family of five. Yeah, we're a family of five. We have three children. We are based in the UK, and we've been in the UK for 4 years. What year did you come?
Um,
Almost 4 years. So this year will make us 4 years. Later this year, so 3 plus now. Yeah, we've been in the UK for almost 4 years, and yeah, we relocated from Nigeria. We are Nigerians, so we relocated from Nigeria, and yeah, I think for now that's it with us. Do you have anything?
no, just a small family, still growing, not in numbers, but in terms of finding our footings properly in this country. And it's what it is. It's who we are.
Okay. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. Before we dive into the real discussion, I would like to, ask us a couple of questions to be able to peep into our past. Can you describe to us what you were doing back in Nigeria before you actually relocated to the UK, and how has life been generally to you when you look at it, all together?
First, before I answer that question, it's interesting to know that we met in a unique way, myself and Buki. NYC brought us together fine in Kebbi State, and it's when I hear people talk about NYC to be scrapped, the Nigerian Youth Service Corps, I feel like, well, if it doesn't work well for you, it gave me
Good
something
for you.
to always be proud of. Also, interestingly, because of distance, we dated for 4 years, but in that 4 years, we were seeing ourselves just once a year because I was in Kebbi and she went back to the West. And it's just so funny and interesting how it all happened. But here we are as a young family. Back in Nigeria, I worked with the humanitarian organization. I worked with Save the Children, and it took me to different parts of northern Nigeria. So I see myself more as a northerner than someone from the south. I lived in Maiduguri and then other part of Borno State, and that tends to give me some form of comfort because it was a well-paying job. And some of my friends, when they heard about I'm leaving, they would ask, "Why are you leaving? You have a good job." And that is part of why we are here, why we're answering this question.
Yeah, for me, I used to be a business person. Yeah, I used to be a business person. I had my own business. I used to be a distributor for some companies. like some okay food, Sona Foods. So I used to be like one of their major distributors. So that is what I was doing. Actually, that was before I got married. So as soon as I got married, I relocated. I had to move in with my husband. So, but that was what I was doing. But not so long after we got married, too, we moved to the UK.
Yeah. Thank you. I think it's becoming interesting because this is one of the things I tell people when it comes to relocation, most especially from Nigeria or wherever Africa to one of these advanced countries, that if you see someone who has actually relocated, it doesn't mean the person is not doing well back home, because relocation is a big project that it requires a lot of money. And this is another testament to that. You can see the both of this couple, they were actually doing very, very fantastically well back in Nigeria before moving. So it is not all about the money, but there are a lot of things behind this. So can you tell us what actually prompted your movement from Nigeria? Say, okay, I think the UK should be our next destination.
All through my life, I would say I've never dreamt of living outside Nigeria. I want to go out, but for specific purpose, maybe education, holiday, and come back. I've been, if I would use the term, patriotic Nigerian to always stay and live in Nigeria. But Buki have always nurtured this idea of schooling and living overseas. At the point in time, I wasn't agreeing to it each time she talked about it while we were still dating. But it became more pressing shortly after we got married, because we live down up northern Nigeria, the northeast, northeast. So, and because of the kind of crisis there, the terrorism around that area, the organization I worked for sent an email stating that staff with family members who are not indigent should take their families away because attack is imminent. That's made me feel like this may not be the right place for me to stay any longer, because I've never had the idea of living away from my family. I wanted to, let's live together, wife, children, father, like that. So, and then also she just got admission to school here. So I felt like if this is going to be what will take us out, so be it. So it was more of a support to her to achieve her dream, her ideas, that I would say prompt me, motivated me to take this bold step.
Yeah, like I said, before now, I've always wanted to travel out and study abroad. This is something I've been trying since I was going to first go into uni, like after secondary school. But it didn't work out. So after secondary school, after uni again, I tried the second time to go for my master's abroad. It was flopped again. So and I carried on with my life. So we got married. So while we were dating, he is aware of what I've tried regarding wanting to relocate, wanting to move abroad. So we got married and all. So there was this guy that attended our wedding.
Like we did our NYC
So
together.
yeah, we served together. So he knew the both of us. So when we were going to get married, we invited him. We never knew he was going to come, but we just let him know just because they knew us together then. So and we're surprised on our wedding day. We found he was there. He didn't even tell us he was coming, so we're really surprised. So after the wedding, we felt, oh, for him to come from that long distance is just so much. We really need to reach out to him and tell him thank you. So we started trying to reach him. We could not reach him. We couldn't. His numbers were not going. So at some point, I had to like call via WhatsApp call, and it went through. We're like, we've been trying to call your number for like some time now, and but like he's no longer in the country. How really? Just when did we see you? He said yeah, that he waited because of our wedding. After the day after our wedding, he moved out. And where are you now? I was like, he's in the UK. We're like, UK, just is it that easy to go to the UK? You that we saw when I was like, oh, he's studying, it's not so hard. And he started giving us he's now explained the process that we can also try it if we want. He's available to give us basic information about it. And that was how he told us what he did. And he told us, we were asking how much. And he told us the money. We were like, no, how do we get that kind of money? It's too much. And he was like, the only advice he will give us is if we say we want to wait till we have that bulk money, that day will never come. What you can just advise us is start the process, get admission. Before you know, you don't have to wait till you have bulk funds. Just get started. When you started, you do the money will you will just find a way. So because of what he said, so that was how we started search for schools. Before you know, I got admission. Oh, scholarship. I applied for scholarship. I got some scholarship as well. So that really motivated us. Like, oh, we got admission, we got some scholarship. The money is no longer this amount.
Much,
Then
yeah.
yeah, so that really helped us. And that was how the process started. It wasn't a straight one, a smooth one, and it was not easy. But at the end of the day, it went well, and we brought ourselves in.
So here you are. Yeah, now yeah, I think I picked a certain lesson from that, journey, which is all about don't wait until you have everything you needed before you make the move. The most important thing in life is, starting a project. Once you've started, you see the progress, and that keeps motivating you until when you are able to get to the end of the journey. Now, looking at all this, I know it is not going to be like all bed of roses, so far so good. Uh, did you ever know any fear about this whole journey? Because it is something that is, not easy, especially living a kind of, country that you've been over 30 years, 40 years. And now, did you ever know any fears at all about this whole journey?
I think if I say I don't, I'm not saying the truth. The fears were large. In fact, I did not resign. I did not resign from my job until we got the visa. Even when Buki continued to press on, let me do something about it.
Can I charge my phone?
Let me just get a charge before.
Is
It's very essential. We'll say that more. Sorry, please, for the break in transmission.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you can just continue. Yeah.
Okay, so what was I saying? Lost.
Now, you didn't resign from your job.
Yeah, I didn't resign. She kept pushing me. This thing is working out. Why not we just resign? And because I resigned very late, it made me lose some benefits, some financial benefits I was supposed to get. But it was because of the fears I have. Started from Nigeria first. If this doesn't work out and I resign, I've lost my job. Where do we go on from there?
Yeah.
Secondly, moving on to a country where uh, you've not been to, you've not had the first time experience of that environment, it's quite difficult to just believe everything will go fine. We were trying to be positive. We were thinking of so many positive things. If I get there, I'll do this job. Especially when I keep hearing how much they pay per hour in pounds and converting it to naira. It was very funny. I was like, this is how much I can make a day, a week. But in reality, I was also telling myself, this is a new environment, new lifestyle, new culture, new weather, new food. So I entertain a lot of fear. Even my parents, I can remember when leaving, my dad was crying, saying that that's going to be the last time he would see me. Possibly because of his health condition at that time, he was really ill. But it was also another aspect, leaving family members behind. So that fear was just all over our head. And also with the distance, the time difference, COVID, and the rest, it was not so an easy thing to just jump into at that time, but it was really a bold step we took in redefining our life.
Yeah, thank you for that. There's another question when you raised the issue of COVID, and I think I was part of the story why you guys were moving from Nigeria. But before we dive into that, because I would like Madam to talk more about that. But before that, now, how would you describe the whole experience transitioning from Nigeria into the UK environment? Can you tell us briefly about the work? I mean, getting a job, settling down. Has it been easy? Then, when you compare the job you currently do and what you were doing in Nigeria, what can you say is the difference?
Well, it's not so easy. It was not so easy, but COVID presented a very positive situation, if I would say. But COVID situation was to an advantage for us because there were less people working, so it was easy to get a job within that time. In fact, we had to stay home for 10 days as soon as we came into the country to isolate.
Yeah.
Within that 10 days period, I think I did about 8 or 9 interviews and I got about 6 jobs straight away without even coming out of the house within the first 6 days because they were
Wow.
all looking for people to work.
Yeah.
So that was a positive side of it. But the other way around, it had its own challenge because within that 10 days, we didn't come with a lot of food to eat. We came with raw food to prepare, but we're just crashing. We don't have a proper accommodation where we could cook properly. So we needed to buy things and we can't go out. In fact, I remember when I was sneaking out at night, my wife and one of our friends would always tell me that I like going out. And that was the only way we could survive to get food. I would sneak out, go to Asda in the middle of the night. I won't go out with my phone so as to get what we eat. So it wasn't so easy. The COVID presented a unique challenge, which was positive, but life was gradually creeping in because when we came in, sorry, please.